Mental practice is not the new concept for us, and of course we heard our teachers suggesting imitate the beautiful violins here to create a smoother touch, or trumpets over there to create a sharper tone. We heard about how mental practice help us to memorize the piece in a more efficient way, or even tackle some challenging passages. Unfortunately, we are not giving full information about mental practice, and especially the importance of it in our daily routines. And it's really absolutely essential for creating healthy technique and healthy expression at the piano. Let me give you a few examples. When we are told to play with healthy tension and activate our fingertips to be able to stay on the keyboard without falling, it cannot be achieved on demand. We don't know the sensation of active fingertips, and the only way, in my opinion, to bring the right impulses and sensations that would create a different touch and result in a different tone is to create the tone first in our mind. Just like with writing, when we have our thought, the fingers are follow, and we get the words on a piece of paper. Creating the right quality of the tone with the right colors of, let's say, harmonies, cold and warm, bright or soft, tense and edgy, or open and consonant, to create different volumes of the sound, including fortissimo, because, if you play mezzo forte, it's probably because you have something mezzo forte in your mind. So the first thing would be actually checking if you imagine the sound loud enough, and also loud enough but not harsh, in a round and rich tone. Then obviously using arm weight, but that's already secondary. But if we don't have the right volume in our mind, our playing is just reflecting that. Voicing, for example, it's not just about playing the melody sharper or more clear and the rest softer. And that will never work to control the tone. But if we learn that it all starts in our mind, where we can separate the layers and actually imagine the sounds in different distance to ourselves, that will naturally, again, give the right impulse to the fingertips that are responsible to play that beautiful melody, and the melody will come up, even though everything will be in, let's say, pianissimo dynamics, just because in your mind you're able to zoom in into the sound, kind of like to the molecule atom level. That will naturally make the sound more vibrant and saturated, yet in the volume of pianissimo. So this is just the one part of mental practice that addresses sound imagination, what's going on in our mind. As I say, it's a vertical line, how we imagine the note before touching the key. But there is much, much more. Another way to work on mental practice is to understand that there is also a horizontal line in creating music when we play, which is, I talk about this a lot, creating music in the spaces between the notes, within the interval. We work here, we work with our vocal cords, we learn how to internally sing not just the notes, but the distance between the notes in the correct way, and then we can advance it and actually use it as a channel to maintain arm weight when we play, or express articulations in the most clear way. Articulations is not about the sound and the movement in our hands. This is just, again, the effect, the result of how we create the articulations in the first place, but articulations are created in our singing. We just alternate different variants of speed and different variants of weight in our singing between the notes. Instead of singing legato this way, we can sing staccato, or tenuto, or even accent. This will give the right impulses to our finger muscles in the palm to execute the accent in a powerful, rich, but not harsh way. Tenuto will be weighted and deep enough, and staccato will be clear and sharp without any tension in our wrist. We can also use internal singing for expressing the structure of music. It's a little bit like in Lego blocks, when we structure the blueprint of the piece and seeing how small units communicate with the larger blocks and where are the tension points. We're talking about phrasing, but essentially this is about how we manipulate energy, giving less and giving more, and how that in turn affect the nuance, the color, the quality of our arm weight that we express through our inner singing. So making phrasing without internal singing is impossible. You can fake it, you can try to imitate it, but you will never enjoy it yourself, and it will never feel good enough and natural enough. And the most important thing, you can do it in one place, and then in another piece you will never know how to approach it in the right way again. If we're zooming out even more and looking from a even higher perspective at our piece, we can use the same approach to defining the larger blocks in the piece, musical form. Again, it all comes to the energy. Where is the beginning? Where do we give less energy? Which is, by the way, very important, because if most of pianists, professional pianists, they actually never learn how to give less, because the teacher always asks more. But if you don't have enough less, then you cannot reach more. Anyway, so you can have the beginning and development and rising and climax of the part, and all of this will be expressed and will be felt in different energy that you again can embed into your singing of the space between the notes. And so this is how you will be able to make the musical form and feel it, the storyline of the piece, in a natural way. The inner pulse is the same thing. I mean, mental practice includes so many areas, but most importantly, what is never addressed is how to systematically train pianists to look at the score and imagine every note that is written there. We cannot expect that we just open any score, we hear every note in the right movement, right dynamics, right harmony, voicing, feeling the phrasing, feeling the pulse, creating the music, just sort of sight reading it in our mind right on the spot. If we were never taught how to develop, how to master mental practice. So it's very important to understand that if you're not able to read music in your mind, it's not because you're not capable, it's because you never practiced it. And in a way, if you are interested, then the PianoWell teaching will be just what you need, because you can have step-by-step, in a very non-stressful way, very efficient way, and very pleasurable way. You can explore how you can start imagining notes, then you can connect them sequentially in your mind, and you can imagine both hands together, you can imagine 10 notes simultaneously, which, by the way, another topic of mental practice. to be able to hear all the voices at once. It also doesn't just come overnight or comes only to a very talented and gifted pianist. It can be developed with a certain technique. Mental practice is very important. I don't think that it is taught in the most detailed way, and I don't think teachers bring enough attention to it, and yet it is absolutely fundamental for healthy technique, for healthy self-expression at the piano. Because again, I say it almost in every video, why practice moving our tongue for hours if at the end we don't know what we're gonna say? The same thing. This is a very good question. I could definitely identify 3 different areas where pianists start feeling safe and secure and therefore healing themselves. The first thing is, I believe that we feel anxious about our practice because intuitively we know that the path that we use for our practice is not working, that the teachers are not helping. And this feeling of being trapped and powerless, this is what gives us anxiety and honestly takes away all the desire to practice. So by giving a student a new possible way of practice which works day by day and creates great results and brings lots of happiness and actually satisfaction while practicing, that's one way of healing. You just show that, hey, don't try to open this door, it's closed, it's a wrong door. Here's another way, it's open for you, it's all very green and nice, and birds are chirping outside and the sun is shining. And this is a great feeling, right? Another way that I believe pianists can feel more secure and safe is that they know for sure that this is a practice plan that they can rely on, that works always, that every day brings the result, a practice plan basically that you can follow, and you can see how many stages for every piece you will need to complete it. In other words, to be ready to perform on stage. Lots of anxiety comes from on the back of your mind knowing that you're not sure if actually you are going to be ready to play on the 20th of March or not. Not being able to rely on a certain dates, to rely on a certain routine, that creates a lot of anxiety. And also, to be honest, investing so much time into pieces that you might end up never play again is also a big portion of anxiety right there, because you know that you are failing. It's like investing your money in the wrong source. And like I said, it's not only feels very safe to know that, let's say, in 12 days, yes, I will be ready to play that piece. By the way, know exactly the volume of the piece that can be ready in 12 days and how much time a day you would need to practice it to be ready in 12 days. We're talking about these very details, but these are the ones that will make pianists secure. All this empowering students a lot. It's something, and also it creates a sense of inspiration because you actually enjoy practicing. You know you can follow the practice journal through and you can predict your results to the day. And you know exactly how much time you would spend on practicing the piece. So I believe this all is very healing for anyone who is playing the piano, because these are the very things that create so much anxiety in us, just not being able to predict, not being able to know if we are going to prepare the piece on time or not, not being able to even know what we're gonna do tomorrow, or if the the time and the energy we invest today is going to last till tomorrow. You wake up next morning, you come to the piano and everything feels wrong again, and you don't know what to do and what needs to be done, and on the top of that you spent yesterday for making everything worse. So there's a lot of guilt here, lots of anxiety. So having a predictable plan that you can follow through and you have results every day and everything is super clear is the essence of healing, in my opinion. So if you feel a little bit lost at the moment, my best advice to you would be follow your excitement. Do what excites you at the moment. If piano practice does not bring any fulfillment and only hurts you, then stop. Take a break, maybe travel, even take a gap year. Learn that your self-worth, even though it seems like it is connected to your level of mastery at the piano, it's not really. You are unconditionally loved and you are always complete, and you are free to do what excites you. And that would be my advice for you. And if at some point you feel like coming back to the piano again and practice, the best way for you would be trying to maybe rethink the way you practice and find different methods that might work for you personally and might resonate with you in a better way than the previous teaching.